State of Nevada. First of all, let's do some introductions. Our city council here today from Ward 1, Julia Ratty. From Ward 2, Ed Lawson. Ward 3, Ron Smith. Ward 4, Mike Kerrigan. Ward 5, Ron Schmidt. City Attorney Chet Adams is here. Also like to introduce Ira Hansen, our assemblyman from Sparks. Thanks for being here, Ira. Appreciate it. Also the head of our brand leadership team, Craig Knudsen. Trey Abney from the Chamber, and also Bill Brainerd, the chairman of our charter committee. Welcome and thanks for being here. 2011 was a year of fundamental change for the city as our economy continued to weaken. It also marked a year of unfortunate tragedies in our region. A disastrous Amtrak crash occurred about 30 minutes from Sparks, and the horrific crash at the Reno Air Races was the worst air accident that impacted people since September 11, 2001. Sparks chair as we declared a state of emergency resulting from gang activity at a popular event, and the Collin Fire destroyed several homes and properties in Reno, followed by the Washoe Drive fire that occurred in January of this year. I want to pay special tribute to our first responders in Sparks and throughout the region who rescued us from these terrible events. From a grateful city, thank you for your service to all of us. So did not remind you all of the importance of emergency preparedness for your family and friends. Whether you are in an airplane or moving vehicle, make sure you the close the exits. Be aware of your surroundings and report suspicious activity to authorities, even if you have to call 911. Make sure your smoke alarms are working and make sure your property has a buffer zone or clear space in the event of a brush or wildfire. In the phone book, please find us. We also honor our troops serving our nation so that we may continue to enjoy the freedoms we have today. To honor our troops, we partnered with the Blue Star Mothers last year who provided banners depicting our very own brave men and women serving our nation. They're depicted on lampposts on Victorian Avenue and Victorian Square. These banners are a special tribute to those in our military families. I also want to congratulate Reed High School women's basketball team who won the state championship a few weeks ago, and of course the Wolfpack's men's basketball team who are the Western Athletic Conference championships and will be playing tomorrow for hopefully going to the big dance. It continues to be a wonderful experience for me to serve as your mayor. Every year I have the opportunity to meet many of our residents and reconnect with many that I've not seen in a while. I really do like my job. A former mayor in another city in a state said he was the happiest mayor in America. And I also reminded him, they call him Mayor Martini down in Las Vegas. So I called him and reminded him that I was the real Mayor Martini. Well, I have to tell you that I am the proudest mayor in America. Candidly, it was not too long ago we all wondered if any local government, let alone our state government, could stay afloat. When I became mayor, we were already experiencing double-digit growth. Commercial and residential developments were booming. We all wondered and worried how we would and could accommodate the growth and required city services that come with it. In hindsight, those were good problems to have. However, those kinds of problems will not return for some years to come. Around mid-2006, we saw some warning signs. Development began to slow and tax revenue dipped a bit. Fiscal experts suggested our economy was merely going through a financial hiccup. And then came the housing crash in 2008. As the state's economy and economic forecast continued to deteriorate, significant action was required. The city could no longer ask for wage and benefit concessions year after year or reduce services to unacceptable and unsafe levels. So last year we committed ourselves to make a permanent fix. We were faced with another budget shortfall, this time more than $4.5 million. The alternative was to apply a Band-Aid that would never offer a solution. Then, the City of Sparks underwent a significant reorganization that we call Sparks Sustainable Services Initiative, or SSSI. This comprehensive study resulted in prioritizing many core city services in order to put the city government on a fiscal path that is more realistic in today's economic environment. What became clear in the summer of 2010 was that the previous 4 budget cycles, which had successfully met the unprecedented revenue shortfalls, had not reset the organization on a path to sustainability in light of the Great Recession and its lingering effects on Nevada, particularly in the northern region of the state. Our city manager and executive staff engaged the mayor and the city council over a course of several months to create a new vision for the city's strategic plan. Numerous employee focus group meetings were held to solicit input and feedback on areas where city could reduce services and save public dollars. And the city's advisory committee was provided the autonomy to conduct their own studies in order to help create a priority list of these services. The committee concluded their studies with a full-day workshop that included placing a real dollar value on city services. The initiative was an effort to describe the depth and reach we were embracing for our organization to tackle the future. Based upon extensive research, we consolidated several methods of change into a single coordinated project. A comprehensive matrix was created and listed nearly every internal and external service the city provides. Categories such as mandated services, core services, and public safety were all ranked. SSSI allowed us to chart a course that will take us down a more realistic path in order to provide essential services with appropriate resources to meet the needs and safety of our residents. By identifying core services, prioritizing these services, and addressing a structural deficit, the SSSI process has created a structure that will allow me and the City Council to govern in unprecedented times. I want to thank our entire city team for taking this bold step forward. It was made possible entirely by the expertise of our staff. No outside consultants were used. I also want to thank our employees who have made substantial sacrifices over the years. Your personal financial sacrifices are a true testament to your dedication and commitment to serving our city and its residents. You have all demonstrated what it means to be a public servant. Please know that your actions have not gone unnoticed. From a grateful city, thank you very much. As a result of the SSI program, our budget has stabilized, at least for the short term. We have some way to go before we see an upswing in city revenues. Our local and state economies remain fragile. Unemployment remains high, and the housing market has not returned to normal, as hundreds of homes are still in foreclosure, with hundreds more expected to come. Latest projections show that our total revenue in the current fiscal year is expected to decline 4.9% from the last fiscal year. I want to briefly recap how our specific revenue sources have declined since the boom years. Property tax revenue is expected to drop in fiscal year 2012 by 18.5% from where it peaked in fiscal year 2009. Property values are unlikely to return to levels achieved during the housing boom. In fact, citywide assessed value has declined 28.6% from the peak in fiscal year 2009 of nearly $3 billion. It is now $2.1 billion in fiscal year 2011. Fiscal year 2012 consolidated taxes, or C-tax, primarily consisting of sales taxes, is expected to decrease 33.1% from its peak in fiscal year 2006. City business licenses and permits peaked in fiscal year 2007 and are expected to drop 23.9% in the current fiscal year from that peak year. The city's current general fund, which is comprised primarily of 3 components, C-tax, property taxes, license, and permits, is expected to drop 20% from the peak period of fiscal year 2007, just 5 short years ago. In fiscal year 2007, we had 644 full-time employees. Today we have 432, a 33% drop. The levels are now at 1996 staffing levels. Our residents have recognized the difficulties we have had and the challenges we continue to confront. I want to recognize our city manager, Sean Carey, an individual with a vision and commitment to keep the spark and sparks and the glue who kept our organization together and moving forward during these remarkable and unprecedented times. In years past, I have spent time talking about how our city departments have struggled. Today, I want to focus on their accomplishments. Our public service and Sparks are doing far more with far less. I also want to commend Assistant City Manager Steve Driscoll for his leadership, particularly leading the charge on shared service projects for Sparks. And City Manager Carey and Assistant City Manager Driscoll are in Las Vegas today, hopefully receiving an award from the state for our SSSI program. So hopefully we'll have some good news about that. Sparks believes in efficient government. That is why we continue to oppose consolidation efforts that don't make sense when it comes to saving taxpayer dollars. And 74% of our residents agree with us, according to a survey conducted just last year. We do, however, support shared services that make sense. As a shining example, thanks to a new multi-jurisdictional license process, Northern Nevada businesses now can process their applications and pay the combined licensing fees in one location, instead of making stops at all three. This process will help new businesses get up and running, further supporting economic development here in Northern Nevada. This one-stop shopping element of obtaining a business license is the first phase of the overall streamlining process. We are working to move the process online and eventually create a single business license for all three jurisdictions. We've also introduced technology for our citizens and visitors to learn more about what is going on in Sparks and how we can serve them. A new city website was rolled out last year, and just last month we introduced a mobile application, the first of its kind by a local government in Nevada. We have also created a new customer service counter at City Hall, a one-stop shop for many services. Residents can pay sewer bills, apply for a business license or building permit, and have building plans approved, all in one location. We are making it easier to do business in Sparks. In fact, we are reviewing all city codes and ordinances that may be an impediment to enhancing economic development. Last year, as Public Works and Community Development merged to form the Community Services Department, the team returned to City Hall from a satellite location a few blocks east on Prater Way, and the fire prevention team relocated to Fire Station 1 headquarters. Bringing our team back home saved the city nearly $400,000 annually. I want to salute Deputy City Manager Neil Kreutz and his hardworking team for making a difference in 2011 and address the team's accomplishments and innovation. To begin, the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, also known as the sewer treatment plant for most of the Truckee Meadows, attained a score of 100% for its permit requirements for discharge of reclaimed water in 2011. This is a significant accomplishment for our team because it is a very high and difficult standard to meet. What is most striking to me is that our team achieved this success during a time with reduced staffing and expenditure reductions that have occurred during the Great Recession. So thank you very much, team. And I believe our sewer plant, or reclamation facility as it's called, is one of the most, has the most regulations and stiff things that we have to do to make sure the water runs clean into the Truckee River and into Pyramid Lake. It is not often that a jurisdiction scales back its sphere of influence. But our City Council did just that when we reached a landmark policy decision in 2011 in deciding that expanding the city limits eastward on down the Truckee River Canyon was not in the best interest of our residents. It became clear that it would cost more to provide critical public safety services than the city could generate through development. This choice demonstrated a commitment to our residents that we will make policy decisions based on resources we have now and expect to have in the future. I credit the city's planning staff for conducting the analysis that the City Council used to arrive at this key policy decision. Last year, we saw the completion of roadway construction that greatly improves the public's access to Victorian Square. The new roundabout at Nugget Avenue and 15th Street took combined efforts of the City of Sparks, John Asquaga's Nugget, the Federal Highway Administration, the Nevada Department of Transportation, and the Union Pacific Railroad. All of the city's partners worked together to see this project to completion. And believe me, this was a huge, huge accomplishment. I think this thing dates back to 1986, is from what I was told. So thank God we finally got it done. The city also partnered with the Nevada Department of Transportation to construct landscaping and stormwater enhancements at I-80 Pyramid Way interchange. It is always important to leave a positive first impression of our community, and this completed project provides a finished backdrop to the historic monuments located at Victorian Avenue and Pyramid Way. Community Services Capital Projects and utility engineering staff made use of a new method to replace sewer pipes called pipe bursting. This technology allowed 450 feet of sewer lines to be replaced in 3 days, compared with 3 weeks under normal circumstances. This saved the city more than $65,000 and avoided paving, trenching, and traffic control costs. Another part of the year's streamlining and ongoing efforts for more efficient operations was pooling of the city's parks, utilities, facilities, and road maintenance staff. The broadening of skills will result in a highly skilled and efficient workforce for the city's maintenance activities. Our Community Services Department is staffed by dedicated professionals who operate the city around the clock. People like Ryan Anderson provide facility maintenance to all city buildings and respond to calls after hours, and always with a great attitude. Mark Bowman's commitment to his job ensures the sewer plant is operating and is safe. And Brandon Miles took the initiative to expand his knowledge and skills and attained his certified arborist certificate. Brandon developed a new tree trimming schedule that is coordinated with our street sweeping program, improving the efficiency and effectiveness of this service. I am very proud of our Pavement Condition Index, a nationally recognized standard that evaluates the condition of roadway pavement, which has improved dramatically over the last 6 years. Through the passage of RTC 5, thank you RTC and Lee Gibson, city franchise fees and other funding sources, we have been able to create some construction jobs while improving critical pavement deficiencies in the older industrial areas. There is still much more to do, but Sparks has some of the best roadway conditions in the Truckee Meadows. Last year, we continued our programs to preserve our natural resources and reduce our energy costs. A solar panel project was completed at the police department and at Golden Eagle Regional Park. Combined, the projects generate 1,000 kilowatts of power and are estimated to save the city $100,000 in electricity costs annually. As a further bonus, these projects were made possible by NV Energy rebates, not by city resident tax dollars. I also want to acknowledge another group of special employees. Our accountants, financial analysts, and technology gurus in our finance services department led by Jeff Kronk. These folks don't seek a lot of attention, but our residents should be very proud of their work and their accomplishments. The city has received the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 30th consecutive year, and we expect the same honor this year. The finance team also received the GFOA's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the 4th consecutive year. I also appreciate the fact that we ended the last fiscal year with a healthy unrestricted general fund balance equal to 12.1% of expenditures, exceeding our goal of 8.3%. Our finance team has been diligent and responsible in the management and administration of public dollars. I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge the dedicated information technology staff that works around the clock to ensure that we all are connected. In fact, Tim Sadoff's efforts to obtain a new cell phone provider saved the city 20% from previous provider and improved service. Rich Brown's innovation created the necessary software that enabled the city to implement a new line agenda process that is more efficient and user-friendly. And believe me, IT will always have jobs as long as I have a computer and a phone. So that's job security for those folks. I'm very proud of our Parks and Recreation Department led by Tracy Dominguez, who took the helm just last year. Tracy and her team have been successful in obtaining grants and donations that totaled over $620,000, a stunning 22% increase from the previous fiscal year. Without these funds, many critical recreation programs would have been eliminated, along with valuable support for special events and facility maintenance and improvements. Our recreation programs are some of the most diverse in the region and support our youth, seniors, and disabled populations. We are grateful for the generous support of so many individuals, groups, and businesses throughout the Truckee Meadows, and along with the foundations such as the E.L. Cord Foundation and the Nell J. Redfield Foundation. People like Cindy Bratner, Tanya Ramachadi, and Kelly Hansen have stepped up and taken on new roles to ensure our recreation and softball programs provide the quality of life our residents have come to know. They make sure our community centers stay open and our special events keep sparks sparkling. We are blessed to have community volunteers who donate thousands of hours that allow many recreation programs to take place. In fact, the Adopt a Park program alone has increased 30%, with 21 park sites now being adopted. I'm also very pleased to report the growing success of the state-of-the-art sports complex at Golden Eagle Regional Park. The park's facilities achieved a 95% occupancy rate. 95%, that's wonderful. Tournament and field rentals increased 21%, as more than 1,200 adult and youth teams used the sports complex last year. Almost half came from beyond our state borders. As more sports enthusiasts become aware of the uniqueness and beauty of Golden Eagle, more excitement is generated and tournaments expand every year. This year, progress is taking place to develop the Whittican Regional Park, made possible through a Trails grant from the Nevada Division of State Parks. Later this year, the park will be completed with trailheads, restrooms, kiosks with trail informations, and outdoor classrooms and outlooks offering a panoramic view of the Spanish Springs Valley. You folks need to, when we get this done, you need to go up there and take a look. It's the last bastion of wilderness that we have right dead in the middle of the city of Sparks. It's just beautiful. I remember it well as a kid when I grew up here. I now want to acknowledge the dedication of our police department, sworn and non-sworn personnel alike, led by Chief Steve Keeper. On September 23rd, during a popular special event in downtown Sparks in Reno, the Sparks Police Department was notified of a fight involving a large group with firearms inside a local casino. As Sparks units responded to the fight, information received indicated that shots had been fired. Our police, with the assistance from regional partners, quickly identified and apprehended the primary suspects responsible for the homicide that had taken place. Again, I applaud our law enforcement and everyone involved for quickly taking control of a very dangerous situation that could have deteriorated rapidly. And make no mistake about it, the city of Sparks will not tolerate violent behavior anywhere in our city, including the type of actions that occurred during this popular special event attended by residents and families with children. We will use every resource we have to ensure the arrest, and we will steadfastly support the prosecution of those who choose to engage in criminal activity in our city. I applaud the efforts of our police department to create a reserve program. Reserve officers will help supplement our police workforce. Initially, 10 reserve officers will be selected with an ultimate goal of 20. I also want to thank our police department for improving efficiency with technology. Through state grants totaling $1.3 million, the department has a new records management system and computer-aided dispatch system. The department also implemented Next Generation 911, a system that is capable of voice, data, and video transmission from different types of communications devices in the emergency responder networks via, again, 911. I am pleased to report that property crime in Sparks is down by double digits. This is largely a result of an excellent detective work performed by our crime suppression unit. Our success in law enforcement has not come without challenges. Last year, 8 homicides occurred, the same as the year before. We continue to face difficulties with police staffing. For a city our size, the standard is 2 officers per 1,000 citizens. Our sworn officers' workforce is closer to 1 officer per 1,000 than to 2. We have 11% fewer officers than we did in 2008, and we are underrepresented on the regional crime-fighting teams such as crime prevention and special enforcement teams that combat gangs and prostitution. We require added personnel to tackle and help prevent graffiti, gang violence, and traffic enforcement. Despite these challenges, our police officers and detectives have done a superb job. I'm really proud of our police officers who often go beyond the call of duty. Take, for instance, Patrol Officer Steve Burns. Steve is the department's Officer of the Year and is known for his outstanding police work, along with his compassion and service to the public. As a result of his diligence and methodical hard work in identifying burglary suspects in a Sparks neighborhood, arrests have been made and most stolen property has been returned to its rightful owners. Our fire department is doing an outstanding job as well. Despite a 25% reduction in the department's workforce, Chief Andy Flock and his team have made a number of adjustments to ensure all fire stations remained open every day in 2011. My hat's off to their efforts in keeping costs down and keeping safety a priority. Through a community risk assessment, it was determined that maintaining a quick response to the majority of incidents would have a greater impact in changing outcomes for the better, rather than keeping 4-person staffing that would require closing fire stations. Last year, our fire department was innovative and aggressive in their efforts to address the critical fire and rescue needs by partnering with private sector and raising funds through grant programs. With assistance from Kinder Morgan Energy Partners, the department acquired a new foam truck. The new apparatus will allow us to more efficiently fight petroleum fires. God forbid that we ever have one. We also appreciate Lennar Homes' commitment to provide a new firefighting truck for combating brush fires. The fire department received $57,000 FEMA grant to purchase and install smoke detectors and other warning devices in residential structures not equipped. Project SAFE is in its second year. Nearly 1,100 smoke alarms have been installed in close to 400 homes in the older part of the city. Thanks to Fire Marshal Bob King, the program includes important information on fire prevention for adults and children alike. As a result of Project SAFE, we know of at least one person's life that was saved last year. Our fire department was also successful in obtaining a $500,000 grant from the Department of Homeland Security to replace all portable, vehicle, and base station radios. They also received a state grant for more than $100,000 to purchase rescue equipment. These valuable grant awards represent just one highlight of the fire department's success this past year. People like Tom Garrison, Jake Conley, and Michelle Peltier are credited for working through what can be, under the best circumstances, a tedious and time-consuming process to apply for grants. I admire their patience and tenacity to get the job done. I also want to commend the hard work of our city attorney, Chet Adams. Over the years, Chet has provided the city professional legal advice and has represented our interests in civil and criminal case matters. The attorney's office has maintained a 95% conviction rate for DUI prosecutions. Additionally, he and his team have assisted close to 1,400 victims of domestic violence. Through Chet's office, along with efforts of victim advocate Mary Villasenor, domestic violence victims are provided compassion and assistance through court proceedings. In fact, Mary's work has enabled prosecutors of the Sparks City Attorney's Office to achieve a domestic violence conviction rate which is three times the national average. I also want to point out that during the past year, 7 lawsuits were filed against the city, claiming a total of $10 million. Through our attorney's efforts, the city paid 0. Every lawsuit was defended successfully. Also, thank you to our municipal court judges, Barbara McCarthy and Jim Spoo, for their service. The court's youthful offender program works with individuals ages 18 to 24 who have substance abuse and addiction issues. This structured program is designed to help offenders gain control and develop responsible living skills through professional counseling. The judges meet regularly with a volunteer who spends hours working with these youth, focusing on job placement, housing, and obtaining a GED if necessary. Exemplary court employees have made a difference too. Individuals like Mariana Mendez, the court's sole interpreter for Spanish-speaking customers, are dedicated to public service at the court. Sparks has always been known as a unique family community for special events. However, our City Council has made a commitment to make Sparks the premier destination for special events in Northern Nevada. Branding of Sparks, being spearheaded by the city's Tourism and Marketing Committee since 2009, contributes to economic development. Our branding and marketing efforts give us a story to tell our visitors and potential businesses and developers. This is why special events are so important to our city. We know they bring in revenue, particularly to our merchants. They also enhance our quality of life and increase tourism. Also makes us a great family community. And as we tell our story locally, regionally, and beyond our borders, Sparks will continue to be a place where there is always something happening. It's a long-term strategy, however, and requires city resources, successful supporting special events, and especially patience. Through the efforts of our staff and the brand leadership team, the number of event days in Sparks continues to increase. Partnerships have been expanded to support city-produced events. Whole Foods became the title sponsor of the Hometown Farmers Market. Sparks Florists continues their support of Arts in Bloom, as does Intuit for the popular hometown Christmas events. We appreciate very much their support and generosity to help sustain these festivities. And as a result of all these efforts, I am pleased to report that more than 2 million residents and visitors enjoyed the events and sports activities throughout the city's event venues such as Victorian Square, Sparks Marina, and Golden Eagle Regional Park. Last year, following the legislative session, we began an effort to help the state form an economic development structure. Our city manager chaired and helped spearhead an orchestrated effort called Recharge Nevada, a partnership with the region's local governments, economic development agencies, and educational institutions to ensure unity as we move forward in rebuilding our stalled economy. Additionally, the state has offered incentives as an economic development resource. The final economic development structure is a work in progress, but we have come a long way in a short time. We know that the City of Sparks will have far more to contribute and will be engaged in helping our current businesses grow and be successful, as well as attracting new businesses and industry to our region. We are committed to working together for the betterment of our region. We know, for instance, that economic success in Reno is also our success, and vice versa. We all must work together, counties and cities alike, be blind to borders, and identify the right kind of businesses that will prosper and create jobs in Sparks, the Truckee Meadows, and beyond. We are staunchly devoted to working with Recharge Nevada Coalition to use the competitive edge we have to recharge our future. The objective is very simple: support the region getting back to work. Everything we do needs to focus on creating jobs, and the rest will follow for Sparks, our region, and Nevada. I talked about emergency preparedness at the start of my address, and I want to conclude on the same topic. The Truckee Meadows Flood Project continues to move forward. I've been on the City Council since 1999, and since then we have made some progress, but much more needs to be done to put the threat of flooding behind us. Our core industrial area in Sparks provides employment for more than 20,000 people and contributes millions in economic impact. Another flood would be catastrophic to our local economy. I want everybody to know that Sparks is committed to moving forward with or without the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Again, we're committed with or without the Corps of Engineers to build a project that will protect our city and this region. This is what we committed to our residents. This is what they deserve. As I close, I want to acknowledge some key people. Senator Reed, Senator Heller, Congressman Amodei, along with Congressman Berkeley and Congressman Heck, have worked tirelessly for our state. I appreciate their service to our nation. I also want to express my gratitude to Governor Sandoval. The governor was there for us in September when we declared a state of emergency. He has also been a tireless advocate of economic development for our state, along with our state legislators, in creating a formal structure to coordinate and provide incentives to potential companies that are willing to set up in Nevada. And of course, our City Council team has charted the direction that will lead us to where we are today, direction that has led us to where we are today. Each one brings certain skills and abilities that complement one another. Each gives us a tremendous amount of time and serving on boards and commissions. Each one has the passion to keep Sparks the special place it is, and I'd like to note a few highlights. Councilwoman Julia Ratty's service on the city's Parks and Recreation Commission, the Board of Health, and legislative team, to name a few. She has been a strong advocate in helping us successfully navigate through our legislative issues. Our newest councilman, Councilman Ed Lawson, has wasted no time helping to make Sparks great. He has been and continues to be a strong and passionate advocate for economic development and is working very hard to streamline our permitting process and working to update our municipal codes. Councilman Ron Smith serves on the RTC board as chairman of the Truckee Meadows Flood Management Authority. Ron has also played a major role in branding Sparks and raising awareness of our great city. Councilman Mike Kerrigan has worked tirelessly on water issues and currently serves as chairman of the Truckee Meadows Water Authority and the Western Regional Water Commission. Thanks for bringing us clean water, Mike. I also appreciate Councilman Ron Schmidt's continued leadership as chairman of the city's Tourism and Marketing Committee. Ron has spearheaded the city's branding campaign and has been a strong advocate for our special event programs. I could not be more proud to serve alongside these individuals. Despite our differences from time to time, I don't have to look far to realize how focused and united this council really is. I know that our residents, business owners, employees, and visitors are counting on us to make a difference now more than ever. We are ready to meet the future and serve your needs. And before I forget, I want to thank one person, Adam Mayberry, for getting me through this again for, I think, the 8th time. So, Adam, thank you very much. Thank you for your time today, and don't forget our website, www.cityofsparks.us, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for being here today. God bless you. God bless the City of Sparks, Nevada, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.